So before ending the last part of our program, now we have a Q&A space and then a few words by Serena. Let me thank Paola, Sandro and Francesca first of all. Thank you for your great job, and obviously Joy is not with us tonight, but thank you also to Joyce. And it's the power of poetry. I was thinking about the power of poetry. Benigni, the winner of the Academy Awards, was here in the States a couple of years ago reading Dante, and it's great because you can still feel the power after 7 centuries. Now, in a few minutes, we have traveled in history. So we were talking about Caesar and Cato and Bonifacio VIII, and we have traveled in geography. We were talking about Morocco and Spain and a lot of other countries without all the waste of time of Padau and security checks also. So it's very, it saves a lot of time respect to taking the airplane. And I'm sure now somebody of you has some questions for those guys, and we are ready to answer. I've been told that we don't have a mic traveling around, so please, if you have a questions, just leave your hand and Madam.
My question is that so often we hear about Dante's Inferno, but we don't hear about the other sections, the other 2 cantos individually. Is there a reason for that?
That's the question. That's what I keep saying also to my students when I teach the Divine Comedy. And it bothers me so much because Paradiso is probably the most beautiful cantica of the whole Divine Comedy. It is because it's more difficult and abstract. And several poets said after Dante, it's probably because you need also a holy heart to understand it. Inferno is something, I remember we Italians, we all studied Divine Comedy in high school. We had to, whether we liked it or not. And we all enjoyed Inferno. We were putting each other in Inferno, all of us. And it was pretty much alive. It was fun. There were demons, devils. Kind of reflects more maybe our condition on earth. While Purgatorio was getting a little more boring, and Paradiso we were all sleeping in class for the poor professor. I mean, he tried all his best, but... And that's why I think you need to be more mature to understand the Paradiso. But it's so beautiful, and you cannot understand Dante without reading the whole Divine Comedy. It's not just about Inferno. And it's so bad that it's always, all the scholars also concentrate on Inferno, they forget the other 2 canticas.
When you speak, the language you spoke, is that Dante's Etsy language has been modified? Make it more modern.
Yes.
The only Italian must be a lot.
Yes, yes.
We take a culture and how difficult it is.
Absolutely. Yes, no, the language has been modified. Language is alive. It changes with us. Every century is different. So this is an old Italian. It's difficult also for us Italians to understand Dante. Not only the language, it's just that in order to have his rhyme, he's also changed the subject, he put it at the end, he changed the whole logic of the sentence. I remember that in high school we're supposed to do that analysis logica in order to understand the whole sentence. So Dante, yes, it is difficult, it's not the same. But he tried very hard to actually unify the country, if you want, through the language. Because as Francesca said it before, in the De Vulgari Eloquentia, Dante traveled and he recognized 14 dialects in Italy, and he put this together to create the Italian language, which this is in medieval times. So non linguistica, it's amazing.
Recently they found that 90% of the words used in the Divine Comedy are still used in the Italian language.
Yes, there are. Yes, a lot of them, not perfectly, but there are.
Yes. Still there, so it's a little different than Shakespeare, because we still use all those words in the Italian language.
Yes, the love that can move the sun. Beatrice. Are we to believe that Dante romantically loved Beatrice, or that Beatrice was the idyllic love that could move the sun?
It's the whole question here hard to say. Some scholars believe that he actually met Beatrice Portinari and he loved this woman. But by the way, nothing happened between the two, and Dante married someone else, Beatrice married someone else. Beatrice died also at a young age. I think she was 23, 24 years old when she died. So it becomes like a metaphor. He's in love of love. Beatrice is in love, of love.
Also, there is Petrarca, you have to remember, with the love of his life. What was her name? Laura. You know, all the poets used the female figure as an ideal of what they were looking for in beauty, justice, and kindness, all the good things that they were looking for in the Blessed Mother. You understand?
Yes.
So she becomes a symbol. And I, as a sculptor, have to interpret her. And it's kind of not easy, to get all that purity, all of this high ideals into a statue. So anyway, the Petrarca did the very same thing, with Laura. So, that type of thing.
Why was Dante exiled?
Why was Dante exiled? Can I answer one question? He wanted the separation of church and state. That's basically it. He wanted the Pope to be the head of the church, and he wanted the state to be the state without the Pope interfering. A free church in a free state, like we have in America. But this is 700 years ago, you see? And basically, that was because he was Guelfo Bianco, Guelfo Bianco. He was a white Guelph, which believed that the Pope shouldn't his temporal powers shouldn't come into the powers of the state. That's the reason why.
Boniface VIII, he was also Pope that was interested more in politics, and according to Dante, the Pope should just be spiritual leader, not a political leader. Just, it's stated in also it's a Monarchia he wrote, he mentioned the star and the moon. So one is a political power, the other one is a spiritual power, don't interfere with each other. And the Pope was doing that, and he wanted to conquest even more. So obviously Dante did not like Boniface VIII, and Boniface VIII did not like Dante, and there is a place in Inferno for him, by the way. He was still alive, but Dante said that's where you're going to end.